Okay. Again, for those that are new or just joined us, my name is Natasha Telger, and I'm part of the Illinois Worknet team located in Springfield, Illinois. And today we are going to talk about the different types of assessments that are available through Illinois Worknet. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and make the PowerPoint larger so that it's easier for you to see. But today's webinar is meant to be an overview. We will be offering we have a variety of tools and resources that are available through Illinois Worknet. Some of them are self-survey type items. Some of them are within activities. Some of them are assessments that a person can complete themselves without any assistance from a workforce partner. Other ones are completed Illinois Worknet. Now, each of these items that you see here, you can also view those assessments and the resources, the responses, and access the assessments through customer groups. So that is a tool that all Illinois Worknet partners have access to. It's called customer groups. And we do have additional webinars specifically to discuss customer groups and answer questions that you may have regarding using customer groups. So we'll briefly touch on customer groups, but again, watch for additional webinars if you'd like to participate in a question and answer session on customer groups. One of the types is the computer skills self-survey assessment. Now this is it's paper-based and it's also web-based. So if you have a person that's really not familiar with computers at all, you know, they can still take a look at the questions that are available. We have resources that are available for the beginning computer user. So if you have a person that's, I'll show you later on, that's completely new to computers, they are not comfortable with them at all, we do have a resource that you can use if you, as a workforce professional, would just navigate the keyboard, helping them get familiar with actually using a mouse and familiarize them with the very, very, very basics on computer skills. We also have resources for those who have very little. They're okay with using a computer, but they have very minimal skills. Then we also have intermediate computer skill resources, and then we also have some information for those that would fall in the technical professional category. Now with the computer skills self-survey, this survey does not require an Illinois Worknet account because the results are not saved within the person's account. So this one is one example of an assessment that you wouldn't be able to view through your customer groups because we don't save the results. Anyone can take this computer skills assessment without an Illinois Worknet account. The other type of self-survey that we have is the skills and interest profilers. So whenever you enter your account, you'll see along the top we have tabs that are specifically for those individuals that have an Illinois Worknet account, such as messages, skills, activities, and notes. And the skills and interest profilers are located on the skills tab. And let me go ahead, and I see a couple people have a question about sound. And so I'm going to give them the phone number. Okay. Now with the skills and interest profilers, there are 4 of them that are available through you just say, do you like it? Are you not sure? Or you definitely dislike it? For this example, happens to be study space travel. Once you complete it, then it organizes your interest into broad categories of work, so you can take a look at which areas might be of interest to you as far as exploring careers. Then we also have the skills profiler. With the skills profiler, you have a listing of the skills, and then it has 3 different categories: very satisfying, moderate, and it rates the skills and matches you to various occupations. Then we also have the work importance locator, and as you can see, it has a level, so you can have rated as a 5, this is very important to you, or 1, this is least important to you. And so you just place the cards onto the grid, and then in the end, it provides a list of occupations that you might be interested in. And then the final one is the career interest. But again, you just simply rate the items as you like it very much, like, not sure, or you dislike, and then it matches you to the career clusters. So then from the career clusters, you can take a look at the different types of occupations that match your skills and interests. Now you can access the skills and interest inventory or direct them to the skills and interest inventories that we just looked at whenever they complete their activities. So the activities within Illinois Worknet is available. We've modified it since the Summer Youth Employment Program. It's now 54 questions long, which is quite a bit longer. But what it does, it prepares the individuals not only for the career development assessment, which is basically on, finding assessing them for how much they know about, preparing to find a job, finding training programs, finding a job, and interviewing and resume writing and money management and those type of items. It also includes quite a bit on workplace skills, and that will help them prepare to take the NOCTI 21st Century Skills Assessment that's available for free to all Illinois Worknet partners, and it will also help them prepare for the Observational and Worksite Evaluation that's available through Illinois Worknet too. Now the difference, if you use this with the Summer Youth Employment how many you scored correctly, it provides you with the actual answers to the questions, and then it links you back to the resources that are available in Illinois Worknet to help you with skill enhancement for those particular areas. So it's a pre-assessment, but it's really a study guide as well. Then we have the activities that are available. These were used for the Summer Youth Employment Program for the or briefly talked about was how in the activities we also incorporate also provided with this listing of activities that familiarizes them with the resources that are available within Illinois Worknet and kind of walks them through the process. And one of those steps in the process is understanding what your career interests are and linking that to the possible careers and training programs that you may be interested in. So that is part of the activities that are available. All these activities are, the individuals can save their responses to the activities. They can be printed out. If they're printed out, then they include the step-by-step instructions on how to navigate to that page and the address for that page. It also, if you're just using the activities within Illinois Worknet at your computer, then it simply takes you to the appropriate page. Development assessment as many times as they want to, regardless of how high or low that they have scored on this assessment. Once they score 70% or higher, then they can print off the certificate of completion. Now, the certificate of completion is just that. It just simply says that, yes, this person has successfully completed this assessment. And with the career development assessment, the focus is on preparing to find a job, writing your resume, interviewing, finding training programs, finding jobs, and some money management questions. So it focuses on that aspect of the employability skills that are within Illinois and the Worksite Evaluation that's available. And you, as an Illinois Worknet partner, you can view these results through your Illinois Worknet account through the use of your customer groups. Now, I mentioned several assessments and the activities. And the activities and the results from the assessments are linked back to the Employability Skills Wheel. We looked at multiple national standards and the recommendations from the Illinois IT Task Force, and we compiled that information these common categories across the national standards, and we put them in a format in a wheel. And the idea is to say, to show that you need academic and industry-wide technical skills, but you also need the employability skills. And this wheel it's not meant to depict that the employability of the soft skills are more important than the other types of skills. It's just that this skills wheel focuses on the workplace skills. We do have a whole entire channel dedicated to academic skills and finding finding training programs for technical skills. So it is under prepare and it's under workplace skills because that is the focus of this particular item. So when a person comes to the skills wheel, either by going directly to the skills wheel or coming from other than the industry-wide technical skills, has 3 areas. And the first area is a scenario. So it's basically, what would you do in this situation? And then they can respond. They can think about, well, this is what I would do. Then they'll take a look at the answer. And the next section provides a possible solution. And it provides a listing of skills and the definitions. And the definitions, again, are compiled from the different national standards on that particular topic. And then they also have a place where they can rate their skills. Now, right now, that we're moving towards where you'll be able to use that as an activity and rate it, clickable, and save your results. But right now, it's Based on my assessment results, it says that I need to work a little bit more on understanding the big picture. What are some of the things I need to take a look at? So there's also resources available within that page as well for skill enhancement, not just simply the definition. And then with that, we don't want them to stop there with just simply attaining the skill. We want them to be able to use that skill to market themselves whenever they're going out and looking for a job or entering a training program. So we have that information within the next steps. One of the assessments that we have available, so we talked about the quick summary. We talked about the self-survey items that we have. We talked about the pre-assessment. And then we have the career development assessment, which is more about job preparation, job search preparation, finding jobs, and so forth. Now we're going into the area that's really more about assessing workplace soft skills. So a new assessment that we added to LMI Worknet is the Observational Assessment. And this was developed by the Chicago Workforce Investment Council, and it's completely free. Anyone who is an LMI Worknet partner can access this assessment. It's really intended to be used by someone that's working with a student over time, such as an instructor. You can simply go to the, I'll show you how to get to this in a little bit. In the observational assessment for that individual, we have the different items. So under fundamental, we have appearance, hygiene, timeliness, speaking, attitude, accountability, self-control, so forth. So whenever you click on any of these items, then a rubric appears. To make it disappear, you just simply click on the link again. But the idea is that the item and the rating system and the rubric are all incorporated into one, so that the instructor can easily say, okay, well, for Natasha, we want to say yes, 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 and maybe, a 2 for each of these, a 3 for each of these. And they can just simply click the radio button and save the results. And the results will be saved within workforce professional or workforce partner. Then that information is saved within the individual's account. So anyone who has permission and access to that individual's account will be able to view that assessment score. The nice thing is, too, is that the individual can view your observational assessment of them through their LMI Worknet account as well. So you can complete the observational assessment. They're notified via email that an assessment has been completed, also an account message, so that they can go to the results tab and they can they might need to take a look and see what employers expect. What is the level, the expectation level, and what are some additional resources that can help me with working on that skill? So whenever they see the results, each of these areas is linked back in the results to the applicable resources within LMI Worknet. So we're not just leaving them high and dry. We do want to direct them back to resources where they can work on enhancing their skills. You can complete up to 12 observational assessments per individual. If you have any questions at any time, I'm going through this quite quickly. So if you have any questions, go ahead and type them into the chat pod at any time. The next assessment multiple choice assessment, and what you would do is, as a workforce professional, you can order the NOCD assessments directly through LMI Worknet. Now this is pretty neat because when you order the assessment, you have access to it immediately. Whereas with the current system, when you go through the NACD process, you can order it, and then you might have to wait a day or two. So you have to order it in advance, and then you can print out your information and get everything set up. But you can still do the same thing in Illinois Worknet, but the nice thing is that you can have immediate access to those resources, and it's free. Normally people would have to pay to take the NACD 21st Century Skills Assessment. It is a 100 assessment in a proctored environment, so it would need to be in a computer lab. You can choose to have it set up so that you have 2 60-minute sessions, if that would work better with your schedule. There is also a text-to-speech option. So whenever you're ordering your assessments, you just simply specify if you want a 1 session, a 2 session, if you want text-to-speech or not, and you just type in how many you want. It creates an invitation, and whenever you're in your proctored environment, when people come in, you just simply hand them the instruction sheet, the little business card instruction sheet that's created, and it's associated automatically with their account. So whenever they access the assessment, it has the Illinois Worknet heading at the top, and then they access the multiple choice questions. And this is a sample of the questions. So just to show you that, yes, it's multiple choice radio buttons, and they can choose to go back. They can mark, if they're not quite sure about a question, they can mark it, and then at the end it'll show them the different types of, which questions they wanted to go back and take a look at again. It tells you where you are in the process. So if you're on question 1 out of 100, or if you're in a 2 session, it'll say you're in question 1 out of 50. And it gives you the time remaining, how long you have. And then at the end of the assessment, it provides them with immediate results on the assessment. Then from NACD are provided and automatically uploaded into the individual's account, and they can access those scores. And if they have an area that they didn't do so well on, or even if they, regardless of their score, there's still some guidance and next steps, so that if they wanted to work on that particular skill or take a look at some more resources, it links back to the resources in Illinois Worknet specific to that topic. So in particular, they would probably want to take a look at the scores first that they didn't do so well on. Now for this assessment, this experts, and they review the questions, and then once they go through the questions, then they create what they call a cut score, the passing score of what a person would absolutely have to do, what they consider work ready, or the knowledge that's necessary for what an employer would expect whenever they enter the workforce. And this, in order to successfully pass the NACD 21st Century Skills currently, I believe it's 64% on this particular assessment. And it is up for review, and the next assessment will be available in, I believe, 2013 is when the new update will be out. The next area that we have is the Worksite Evaluation. And as of today, this PowerPoint is a little bit out to date, so you are the very first ones that will get to see the new and improved worksite evaluation. With that said, we're still testing it, so just keep that. And it was to be completed by the worksite supervisor. So even as of yesterday, whenever you're going to complete the worksite evaluation, then the workforce professional would have to send the information to the supervisor and get it back and then enter the results themselves. But we released it today, actually just for testing, but it's out there and you can take a look at it, where you can send an invitation to a worksite supervisor and ask them to complete the evaluation online. So you just simply send them the link, and whenever they complete the evaluation, then it automatically updates the individual's account. Other assessments, whenever you complete the assessment, then the results are linked back to resources within Illinois Worknet to help them with enhancing their skills, especially if they didn't do so well in a certain area. Now with the worksite evaluation, the intent is that this, the employer, the supervisor, or the instructor would review the expectations ahead of time with the customer. Then a preliminary evaluation would be completed a few weeks into the work experience or midway through the work experience. Of preliminary and final. The limitation with that is that it would only allow the customer to have 2 evaluations per employer, and that may or may not fit well with many of your schedules. So what we have now is you can have an unlimited number of evaluations for a customer per employer. Not that you would necessarily want a large number of evaluations, but if a work experience is longer, or if they worked with them one summer and then they for those that are familiar with the worksite evaluation, we have updated the appearance of the worksite evaluation as well. So now it uses the same basic format as the observational assessment. So whenever you click on the link, then you'll see the rubric embedded into the evaluation for easy access. Once the evaluation is complete, then the individual is notified and they're provided a link so they can go directly to the results so they can see how they were evaluated. Are there any questions so far? Before I'm covering a lot of information before we get into the use of customer groups and how you view these customer groups or view these assessments and the results. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and start talking about the customer groups, but if you have anything that pops in your mind, go ahead and add it into the general chat. View their assessment results and communicate with the customer. It used to be that you had to go, have special privileges and go through a special process so that you can have access to the customer groups. Now we have it set up so that all Illinois Worknet partners, approved Illinois Worknet partners, can access customer groups. So we have a couple of different levels. We have a level that if you are a case manager in IWDS, then your customer groups are already populated with your customers from IWDS. You have the ability to invite others, but it's not necessary, and unless they're not in IWDS and you're working with them, then to your customer group via an invitation, and once they accept access to or accept your invitation to be part of the customer group, then you will be able to view the results. Now, whenever you go, you'll go to your Illinois Worknet Workforce Partner Pathway account, and on your home page there's a link for customer groups. When you first go there, you'll see a link, a couple options here. So you can go to your personal group. The first time you go to your personal group, you won't see anybody there unless you're an IWDS case manager at a time. My personal preference is the group invitation. It creates an envelope instruction sheet that you could either pass out or, copy and paste the information into an email and send it out to a group of people. Or if you're in a computer lab, you can post it on the computer screen, and you can give everybody the same instructions at that time. And once they follow those instructions, then they're prompted to either set up an Illinois Worknet account if they don't have one already. If they already have one, they're prompted to refresh your page, and they're automatically added into your customer group. So you'll have their account information and their contact information and access to their assessments and their activities. You can also send them an email. And you might want to do this, let's say, for example, with customer groups, you can create subgroups. Maybe you have a group of people that are in a particular training program, or a group of people that are in a particular class or situation or in your customer workflow. So you could send that particular subgroup or your entire group an email or an account message. If you send them an email, obviously it goes to their email. If you send them a user message, it goes to their Illinois Worknet account. So the next time they log into their Illinois Worknet account, they'll have a green notice at the top that they have messages. Or you can do both. And you simply type in the email subject. Maybe it's complete this activity by Friday, or maybe it's we have an employer that will begin accepting resumes on Tuesday. Maybe it's, this is an upcoming deadline for this training program. Make sure you have your information in. Customer group, whatever, however you have your group set up. And the email will come from you using your email account that's in your Illinois Worknet profile. You can also have it set up to copy you on any of the emails as well. Okay. And go ahead and go to the next page. I see someone's typing, so we'll keep an eye on that. Now, as I mentioned before, you have access to their assessments and their activities. When you click on the customer summary, you'll have access. That's where you view their activity responses as well as their previously. So you'll see if they participated in SYEP 2010 or their different programs as different programs come up. You'll be able to see their different test results and the responses for those particular activities. Okay, saw a question come in, so let me answer it real quick. If sent in a group email, will the other customers have access to, okay. Good question. it will appear that it only comes from you. They will not have access to the other customer's email accounts. So good question. And it will appear that it comes from you, so they can just simply respond to the email, and it will go to you. So good question. Okay, so you can access their different activity responses and so forth through because you, as the workforce partner, is the person that's going to initiate that worksite evaluation. So with the new format, you will just fill out the information and send it to the worksite supervisor. And the worksite supervisor will complete it, and the information will automatically be updated in the individual's account. Then we have the observational evaluation. And again, since this is completed by an instructor, then it's always available through the person. When the individual has completed the NOCTI 21st Century Skills, then you will see that link available so you can view the results as well. And when they have completed their skills and interest profiles, that link will be available as well. So as additional items come up or different assessments, different resources come up, then you will see them available on this section of the customer group. We do have another, what do you want to call it? Rare cases, you probably have a better chance of winning the lottery, but in some rare cases for some of these individuals, you may see that there is a link that's available here for a disability resources calculator. So again, just to let you know that as we develop and continue to develop more tools that are based on feedback from the field, you may see more options there as well. Okay, so I want to go ahead and provide a demonstration, but before, if you have any questions, are there any questions before I provide the demonstration? Okay. One of the things I want to make sure that everyone knows is that one of the reasons why I have this and now we call it the Workforce and Education Partners Pathway. So if we're talking about the Workforce Partners Pathway, or I interchange it with the Professionals Pathway, just so you know, we're in a transition phase for that language. We also have an updated Certified Illinois Worknet Advisor online course that's available, and that's automatically available through your Illinois Worknet account as well. So I just want to make sure everybody knows those items are available. So I'm come up. I'm going to share my desktop. Go over to my online Worknet page. And first of all, I want to take you to, I'm going to zoom in so you can see. And again, if you have any trouble viewing it, just make sure you can always click the full screen. That'll zoom you in a little bit or make the accepted the invitation, or actually, even without accepting an invitation to be part of a Illinois Worknet customer group. Once they have an Illinois Worknet account, you can see that as soon as I log in and I have messages, I have a great big green box up here that tells me that I have messages, and I can easily access those from my messages. I could have clicked on it from the link in the green box. And so I can take a look at the messages in my account. I can keep my notes, I have my shortcuts. You can take this a number of times, any of these a number of times. But once you save your results, then you can just click on View Your Profiler Results, and you can access your profiler results. Now this is the same exact view that you as a workforce professional, this is what you're going to see as well. You see the exact same thing as your customers do. Whenever you click, if you're in your customer restored, there we go. And you can see this happens to be the career cluster inventory. So I could take a look at these and say, oh, well, look, looks like I should go into manufacturing, or that's a strong interest area. Okay. So that's the skills and interest profile area. The activities, again, this is my pre-assessment. I can click here to view the results of my pre-assessment because I already took my pre-assessment. So I have my this page. Let me go to a different one. It's academic. Let's go to the communication. Then I can go back to communication skill resources. And it takes me to that section within the skills wheel that has the definitions. And then it also has additional resources, so I can take a look at what are some of the things that I need to do or I can do to help me improve on in that area. So that happens to be only the ones that you answered wrong, or does it display all your answers? It gives you, let's see here. It tells you if you answered it correctly or not, but then it gives you the correct answer. Like your answer was proofread names on all the invitations. The correct answer is B. The invitations in spreadsheet should be used to mail merge and add the names. So it gives you the correct answer. It gives you your answer and then it gives you the correct answer. So good question. And if there's things that, if you take a look at this and you get into the practice, modify it, I assume, pretty easily. We can, if nothing else, with the text, just content. So, and also, if you have additional resources, online resources that you think would be beneficial, especially for this specific skill areas, please send them to us. We're always, looking for more resources, good resources that you actually, use, and we can easily add them to Illinois Worknet as well as just simply content. So let me go ahead and show you one of these areas. The activities. You can go to an activity, and they're put into accordion, so it's just easy to scan. Boxes where you can type in your text, and this is what you would see as a workforce professional. You would be able to see the text that's available that they typed in, and then they save their activity notes. Now this is also available in a printer-friendly version. You just click on the magnifying glass, and it tells you, it even prints out, it shows additional instructions. So it says go to Illinois Worknet, log in, click on, and then it provides you with, the same activity except in a printer friendly format. The career development assessment, and then you can print your certificate of completion once you score 70% or higher. Again, this is from the customer's perspective. Whenever, as I mentioned before, every time, whether it's an observational assessment or a worksite evaluation, those results can be viewed from the Results tab, so they see their information. And this one, this is my account, so I'll have to show you an example of a person that actually has their professional view. Actually, I want to show you, if you are an Illinois Worknet, an IWDF case manager, when you log into your Illinois Worknet account and you click on customer groups, your customers are my IWDF customers. Any of the customers that are assigned to you in IWDS will be available. Basically, this is like a filtered group for you. Then, whoever you have access to, whether it's registered, universal, if you have access to some of these other people, whatever you have access to IWDS, you have access here. Again, we have the ability, these are just different test items that we set up when we were testing our subgroups, but based on your workflow, you can set up a subgroup of people from your existing groups so it matches your workflow. This person, they have the ability to invite people to be part of their customer groups. I'm going to switch over to my account, so we're looking at make-believe people, not real customer information. And I'm going to click on, this is my Illinois Worknet Workforce Partner Pathway homepage. And I'm going to click on Customer Groups. This page, you are not going to, you can click on your personal group and you're not going to see anybody. And that's okay, because that just means you need to invite people to your customer group. So we have instructions on this, and for time's sake today, I'm not going to go through the details of inviting customers to customer groups. We have archived webinars that cover this information extensively, as well as instructions tab. But these are the tools that you use to invite customers to your customer group. Whenever you have your customers in your customer group, you have their account information, you have their contact information, and you have their links to their assessment. Customer summary for Pat. And you can look at their past SYEP information, or you can look at their results for any of the employability activities that they've completed. So you can see for this particular activity, you have the activity, but then you also have their comments. And if no answer was provided, it just simply tells you no answer was provided. Okay, let me go back to Pat. We have the Worksite Evaluation, and you guys are the lucky group. This is the first time that we've shown this because I was just looking at this today, starting initial testing, so you'll see some changes, or you will see some changes. So the first thing is to select an employer because with a person's history, they may have worked at one employer one summer and changed employers the next summer. That's fine. Okay, if that question come up. Okay. Okay. Just to clarify, it says, did you say that anyone assigned to you in IWS would show up under your account, or do you have the employer will be able to see that you'll be able to view the results? So it tells you who completed the information and what they scored and so forth. Okay. So let me go back to, they also have the observational assessment. And for the observational assessment, again, you can save up to 12 observational assessments. This is similar to what the worksite evaluation would look like. You would select the skill or the standards. So you just simply click on the radio buttons for each of these and submit the results, and then you'll be able to view that the individual will be able to view those results as well. The same thing with the interest inventory that's available, and then I'll click on the NACTI 21st Century Skills. They're not actually percentages in here, but it gives you a view of what the customer and you as a workforce professional would see. It's my computer's being slow. There's not a limit to how many times that they can take the assessment. Of course, I'm sure they don't want to take it a lot of times since it's 100 multiple choice questions. But so if I went to customer 41, and customer 41, let's pretend they have all their percentages here, and I can say, oh, okay, well, I didn't really do very well on them over to the different resources or the definitions for what does it mean for understanding the big picture. Here are all the different skill areas and the definitions, and then all the different resources to help them learn what it means for those skill areas. Okay. So okay. The reading level for the NACTI assessment, I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it's like high 6th grade level, low 7th grade level, I think, somewhere right around there. So it's either 6th or 7th, somewhere right in that range. And the worksite evaluation and observational assessment are completed by the the employer. Okay, any other? Show you real quick. Let me get over to that page. Here, let me log out, and let me log in as, okay, hold on. They are usually checked to remain. Okay. Let's see here. Trying to remember. Let me look at. I want to show you. Well, I'm logged in as Pat, so you can see the results from a customer's perspective. And we have the employability activities. This is Pat's observational assessment. You can go through and take a look at the different areas for completed observational assessments. So again, each of these takes them to the different resources that are available on Worknet. Some of these, they may cover more than one area in the skill evaluation. You can take a look at all of your evaluations that were completed by your worksite supervisor. This is a completed worksite evaluation, and I can see that they did very well for this area as well. Okay, and I did say that I would show you, oops, clicked on the wrong area, for the computer skills self-survey. This was the self-survey that was not included, I'm sorry, that's not included, not included in your customer group because we don't computer skills self-survey online or in a paper format. If they do it online, it uses a wizard approach. It gives them the end results of what are their next steps. So if I click on New Computer User, you can see that for those next steps, options for those who are completely unfamiliar with computers, then we do have this TLN Technology Committee, and this was field, how to tab over those different types of things. But then if you're okay with using a mouse and a keyboard and you can move on past that, then we have some other resources that are available to help them with upgrading their skills as well. Okay, so any other questions? Next step. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and type them in the chat pod. But also, we're asking we want to find out from the different participants, are there any assessments that you would like to be part of a pilot? We do have some people that are already starting with, they want to pilot using several of these assessments. Some people want to use it only for a particular group. It's up to you. But for our next steps, what we'd like to do is further define scenarios and ways that you can use these assessments. For example, based on the feedback that I got initially, from working with some of these people, in some cases, they have English classes that do resume writing, so they can use the resume writing piece and that activity. Some areas, they want to incorporate workplace skills. They can use the workplace skills. So it depends on, your situation, your customers, what is the low-hanging fruit and how you see with incorporating this with the resources that you have. So then the next step is, compiling that information and providing a series of webinars that focus on specific assessments and how you would use that with either youth, adults, dislocated workers, and it just really focuses in on that one little piece. That information will also be used to develop a module that will go into the certified only everyone. I appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to join us. And again, if you have any questions, please type them in or email info@illinoisworknet.com, and that way we can make sure that we send your questions